Hey there everyone, it's Thakard and welcome back to another guide video for Survival Fountain of Youth. The most recent update, Reaping the Harvest, has brought in several new objects to the game. Last time we covered all the new storage options that you have. Today we're going to be covering the new sleeping options. First sleep option we have is the primitive bed of leaves. This is just one step above sleeping on the ground, and it's something you can build initially from the start of the game. It requires 5 narrow leaves to build, and it gives you 5 energy per hour of sleep. This is by far the least effective of your sleep options, but is also the easiest to build. Next up, we have the portable leaf bed. This is kind of a mobile version of the primitive bed of leaves, but it takes different resources. The portable leaf bed takes 2 narrow leaves, 2 wide leaves, and 2 liana rope. And for those resources, all you get is 1 additional energy per hour. Now, earlier on in the game, and maybe this will change at some point, but it's not how it is right now. You couldn't break apart items like the primitive leaf bed and get all of the resources back. You would only get like half of them back. And so at that time, the portable leaf bed was actually a pretty nice object. But since I can take apart my primitive leaf bed and get all 5 narrow leaves back, portable leaf bed just isn't as good. I don't think the 1 energy per hour is worth using 2 liana rope for, which you need literally for everything. Next up of our leafy bed options is the bed of leaves. Now this is a direct upgrade to the primitive bed of leaves. It's an actual object that you place and then you sleep on. It takes 5 narrow leaves and it takes 3 long sticks. In fact, you can take the primitive bed of leaves and directly upgrade it to this bed of leaves. So this is much nicer. It also gives you 2 more energy per hour at 7. Now this one, unlike the portable bed of leaves, this is definitely worth getting, and getting as soon as possible. Our next option is another deployable sleeping aid, and that is the sleeping bag. Now compared to the portable leaf bed, this is just so far beyond it, it's kind of crazy. Now it does take more resources and more difficult to find resources, but this is actually an option to replace any of the sleeping aids so far. It takes 2 dried hides and 1 tendon thread to create. That being said, it gives you 8 energy per hour, which is 1 better than the leaf bed. Plus, it also provides you protection from the sun and the cold, which is wonderful if you're like up in the mountains. You can bring it with you, you can sleep the night. It's just great. This is a option even if you're just at your house. This is a great option early on in the game. The next sleeping option is the hut made of leaves. Now this requires quite a few resources: 4 liana rope, 4 long sticks, 2 big branches, 5 wide leaves, and 5 narrow leaves. That being said, what it gives you for all those resources is pretty great. 10 energy per hour. It's crazy. It also protects you from the sun and from the rain. And it gives you a 2% bonus to treating all of your diseases while you sleep. The great thing about this is these resources are really easy to, say, put on your boat. And so you can just go to the whatever island you're going to explore next. You can throw this down and you have a wonderful place to sleep that keeps the sun and the rain off your head. The last of our deployed options is the linen sleeping bag. Now this is a really late game object because it requires 2 pieces of linen and 1 tendon thread. That being said, as a deployable to take with you wherever you're going, it's pretty darn good. It gives you 12 energy per sleep hour. It also provides protection against sun, wind, cold, and heat. So it's pretty great. The only downside is, this is so late game, just also give it the rain resistance too. Just make it the end game deployable sleeping option. Toss the rain on there. The first of our let's just be super chill sleeping options is definitely the algae hammock. Now this requires 2 common logs, 2 seaweed fabric, and 2 liana rope. So the resources for it aren't that bad. That being said, it's just it doesn't give you protection against anything except for pests. It does give you pest protection. But you're just laying out there chilling in the elements. It does give you 2% bonus to your disease treatment, and it gives a really nice 12 energy per hour. So is this the best of the sleeping options? No. Is this what you really want to be in the afternoon? This is where you want to be. Your next sleeping option is the TP hut. Now this is, it's just kind of wonderful. I love it. It's another thing just like the Hut of Leaves, where you can take it with you and just deploy it wherever you're going. And it takes care of basically anything you need. Now, it does require a lot of resources, so I'll go over those in a second. But first, let's take a look at what it actually gives you. It gives you 16 energy per hour, which is bonkers. It gives you 4% bonus to curing all diseases. It has protection for sun, rain, cold, wind, and pests. Now, the one thing that it doesn't really have is heat. So if you're building this on, say, the Buffalo region, you still will have to deal with your heat. You can't just sleep through it. Now, to make this, you require quite a few things. First off, you need 6 long sticks, and then you need 1 TP roof. To make the TP roof, you are going to need 4 dried hides, 3 fish needles, and 3 tendon threads. So making this takes quite a while, and it takes a lot of resources that you could be using for other things. Is the 16 energy per hour worth it? Very well might be. Although we have a couple more beds that might be even better. Now the bunk made of skins is our second new option from this patch. And it's kind of interesting. Whether or not you'll like it, we shall see. It takes 3 goat hides. You can get goats over on the Iron Island. It then takes 4 split logs, 2 fish needles, and 2 dried hides. For that, you get 18 energy per hour, which is really high. And you also get 4% bonus to all disease treatments. But you have no protections whatsoever. Now, I don't know, not having any protections really makes it worth all of those resources, especially considering the last bed coming up. The last of our sleeping options is the bed with mattress. And this one's kind of, you got your house built, you need the best sleeping possible, this is the one. Now it does require quite a few resources. It takes 2 copper needles, 2 dried hides, 2 pieces of leather, 2 feathers, and 4 wooden planks. This is your big boy bed. This is what you've grown up to. You finally have it. You're going to love it and use it all the time. That being said, it gives you 20 energy per hour, which is far and away the best out of all the sleeping options. It also gives you 8% disease treatment, which is absolutely amazing. Best of everything. And it does protect you from the cold. That being said, it does not protect you from the heat, does not protect you from the wind or the rain. This is something that needs to be inside a building. Same as the last kind of bed. But this one is just outright better. So we have gone over the best sleeping options. But what if the best option is just not to sleep? Well, to do that, you're going to need to take one of these. First off, we're going to be talking about the coffee drink. Now, to make the coffee, you are going to need dried coffee beans. So you got to get the coffee beans from a coffee tree. You then have to dry them. And then in your hearth, you can cook them with 5 water to get a coffee drink. The coffee drink will restore 45 water to you and 70 energy. Not too bad. And while I can honestly say I have my coffee biases, if you want to do this absolutely right, you need to be making the berry compote. Berry compote is created with 2 akaku fruit and 2 feoja. Both of those are available on the Island of Hope, and 5 water. Using a hearth with a pot, you can then make the berry compote, which gives you 55 water and 80 energy. So this little early game drink here will have you just up sleepless nights, gathering for everything. It is such a time saver. But just because you're not sleeping because of your coffee and your berry compote, don't forget that sometimes hopping into bed is actually a good idea. All right, everyone, these are your options for how to sleep and or not sleep at all. If you have any questions about these options here, which ones people think are better, how to build them, anything like that, leave those questions down below in the comments. If you have any ideas on what you would like me to cover next, or if you don't agree with which ones that I think are best, then leave that below as well. I want to thank everyone for watching this, and I hope this does help you out when you are looking at your sleeping options. So, drop a sub, hit the notification bell if you haven't, and go out there, do some exploring, and then take a nice little nap in your wonderful bed with a mattress. See y'all later. Goodbye.